I really appreciate the consistency you both have. Amazing, yeah, amazing. So let us start our session. This particular session is about pitching and learning. This is something which it will be helpful to you in many ways, not just for copywriting. But this session is copywriting oriented, so I've made the whole slide according to that. So we begin our session. Crafting is like a person making a table with curved round edges, making a great vase. That's what crafting is, right? And by the definition of it, you can see describing crafting as polishing content to make it more effective, similar to adding details to a drawing. That's what comparison I have for crafting. So we've been crafting copy, we have been deducing ideas, sorting out things, and I saw the copy pieces that you guys wrote. They were good enough, and actually I'm pretty impressed by the thought process you guys have and the quite smart use of tools around you've done. Amazing, that's good. How was the assignment for you guys? How did you like it? This one habit, no. Okay, so the goal here is to help them understand that crafting is a process to you, and especially to the people you will be presenting your ideas. So this engagement process must go on. Now, crafting basics, a few things that we need to understand about crafting, copy, and also pitching it. So crafting basics is first is key techniques which we beginners might use here in the session basically. So you trim the extra parts. Sometimes have you seen MS Dhoni the movie?
Yes, sir.
Do you remember the scene where Dhoni is sitting with the guy in his room who's peeling off the bat for him, who's giving a shape to his bat? That kind of peeling off where you make it to look better is necessary. You need to trim the extra part, which might be boring. But also, there might be some times where you peel off certain things in writing to, you know, remove the extra part, the boring part of it. But you might have to add 4 or 5 lines. Why? To make it sound alike. The top, the bottom, in the middle. It should be not just about cutting the edges off, but in writing, when you're crafting a content copy piece, there chipping off is not just chipping off, it's the idea of making it more engaging, interesting, and more hooked to people. Then this practice is what I do sometimes. You read loud your own content. When you've written a big ad script, when you've written a big copy, when you've written a short copy, 6 word copy, whatever you are doing, whatever heading you are writing, read that loud. Not do not mumble it or do not read it um from your inner voice, but read it aloud. Then you might see ki acha, this is something I might change. In my early days of public speaking, I used to record myself. I record myself and then I would sit later on, look at it, the gestures that I was making, the kind of efforts I was throwing on emphasizing on certain words, the points where I was just loosely throwing the emotions under the table and letting it roll over, which might be used as a great pillar because not every emotion can be a pillar on which you make your story, your ad stand. That's why we have only one heart. Remember the first session we have head, shoulder, heart, and legs. So read aloud, see how good it is. Then you also, while reading aloud, make certain circles, certain marks, and see if they are just neutral. So add emotions to it. If there's something you can add a little bit detailed about it, add those details. Make that message more interesting. For example, one thing can be written as this phone is very good. When you craft it, when you make it interesting, when you add the emotion, this phone's camera captures every moment in stunning detail. This can be taken as example for iPhone's shot on iPhone campaign. It's the same camera that other people were offering. But why is it different? Because it's shot on iPhone. It has a status of itself. It's good enough to beat other brands around. So it is a tedious process. It's a little complex process which cannot be bypassed. You need to go through it. You need to live that story. The third is a simple activity that you can take. Have each student, so my team has written it in the third person perspective. Give each student a short basic sentence or paragraph and ask them to polish it using the techniques. Example prompt: our ice cream is the best. And they've written example crafted: our creamy homemade ice cream melt in your mouth, making every bite the best part of your day. Then you can maybe have the same idea. You can discuss, you can craft some sentences. So in the same document, you can take this example prompt and you can make a copy ad for your own portfolio. Make sense to you guys? Anything that you want to ask up till now? Okay. One thing I know Pari might want to ask about the review that I gave on her story. Right, Pari?
I already got it through WhatsApp.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then, so what I could understand from your replies, you took it in a way that, how do you challenge? How did you challenge me? Was that so?
I was just asking if you have had a similar book you have read or something, you can share it to me so I can see that my concept is the same as there and I'm wrong in this situation.
Pari, the thing is the originality that your content piece have. कॉन्सेप्ट हमेशा सेम रहेगा, बॉलीवुड की हर स्टोरी सेम होगी. Everything, even we discussed in our one of our sessions, if you remember, we were talking about ideas, how ideas can be the same but representations are different, right? That is what the point is. And that's what I just wanted to share, that it's not about you copied something, but it's something which I might have read the same kind of genre, and you both shared great posters. वो मीन गर्ल्स वाला किसने किया था? परी, आपने किया था क्या?
हाँ.
मीन गर्ल्स वाले में बहुत ज्यादा ऐसा स्टफ्ड एक साथ लग रहा था. इट मोर मीनी, मतलब थोड़े से कम चीज करके ऐसा मीन पोस्टर बने वो. यू गेट माई पॉइंट?
Yes.
परफेक्ट. मूविंग ऑन, the next slide that we talk about here is demonstration. I think a live demonstration of group crafting we did in our last session, which was essentially about it. And I really want to share the link again here. I have to find it. मेरा दूसरा laptop में. Okay. So this is something we did, but I want you to again now focus on this thing. Cutting extra word is again repetitive, but the thing is funny details. If there is no funny detail, don't try to uh, push in the action of fun or sarcasm. But I want you to consider this part, how to make it interesting. You don't need to add sarcasm to something like uh, one of the ads that we read in initial sessions. It was about uh, the call. People go through depression and you call them and then you ask for help. You remember the brand's name? It was the rebellion, something like that. I don't know the name. The Samaritans. Ah. So like the Samaritans, they were talking about serious issues of suicide, people killing themselves. So it was not about making it fun for people to be attentive and read the whole message. But it was very attention grabbing when it had facts and it had details like how many farmers go through this, how many people, sorry, not farmers, how many people go through this whole thing, how many people suffer through loneliness, and how this causes a great problem for oneself. And to solve this, they are there. So you have to make it interesting for people to understand, this is a real problem we're talking about. There's a real solution about it. This last line is important. Why? Because sometimes when we write, we have an explosion of uh, sequence of thoughts. So when this happens, the first attempt we need to do is we need to make down the notes of every point that is coming to us. Every point, जो आ रहा है सब लिख दो, सब लिख दो. But when you are crafting, you need to read aloud to understand, is my last sentence connecting to the sentence next to it? Is it interesting enough to make people read the next paragraph? Is it adaptable enough if I have to make a small copy for my social media post? If I have to take it from here, is it good? So ensuring that your words, your lines, your sentences, your paragraph connects all together very smoothly is one of the essentials part. Essential part, not essentials part. Essential part of it. Why? Because this will affect the journey of your reader. There's a journey of reader from which the reader starts reading your content, and the journey the user, the reader is hooked to your content. It first starts with either image or headline. If it's the image, then secondary becomes the headline and then the text that follows. It can be vice versa. It can be first the headline and then the image and the text. If possible, try to add numbers in your content piece, because people tend to see numbers more specifically through while they skim through the content, because that becomes important. I don't know, we have some obsession with numbers. We just become good at math when there's money involved. Is it the same with you guys or not? Hey, come on, this much interaction you can do. I have so many memes here for this particular batch that pops in my mind. Bro woke up and chose silence today. Bro woke up and chose savage behavior today. At the end of the day, you guys are actually practicing. That's the thing that matters for you in your future, for your future. These are few points that you might want to focus on while you're writing. You should focus on while you're writing, and make it a habit to read your lines, your content, whatever that you're writing, be it message, be it an email, anything that you write, you need to make it a click for yourself. Also, this becomes important when you're pitching your idea. It becomes important. Why? Because you need to stick to the idea that you've made. So sticking to the idea is very important when you're presenting your idea to a team. Let's say you go on and you start by writing about yourself or about the brief that you've got, and then you start with the golden circle. You say, the why of the company or the campaign that you're looking at is this, and this is how I will be solving your problem, and this is how you will have a clarity on what is being done. So when you pitch the content, this needs to be very clear as an understanding that the why is connected to how you are going to solve it, and your how will be connected to what resources you will be using to solve it. There's layering of things today that we are learning, because now I understand that you might have gotten up in your game of copywriting and ads. This is an example that I've put up. I was bored, so I went to the store. I looked at some clothes. I bought a shirt. Feeling bored, I wandered into the store. A bright red shirt caught my eye, and before I knew it, it was mine. This approach this approach has a big difference, because this approach, the one above, has a very basic, very straightforward approach. There's nothing that I might want to mm, read or look at. Feeling bored, I wandered into the store. A bright red shirt caught my eye, and before I knew it, it was mine. In this, when you're reading, you have expressions as well. When you read this, I was bored, so I went to the store. I looked at some clothes, I bought a shirt. There's no change in expressions as well. That's how reading aloud helps you. Feeling bored, I wandered into the store. A bright red shirt caught my eye, and before I knew it, it was mine. Why are we? Why am I shouting when I'm reading aloud? Because of this exclamation. आज का सेशन जल्दी हो जाएगा, आप लोग चिंता ना करें. क्या प्लान्स है वैसे ऑफ द वीकेंड? और टुमारो यू गाइस हैव अ हॉलिडे और सेलिब्रेशन?
हमारे स्कूल में कुछ हो नहीं रहा.
क्यों?
शायद होगा.
स्पोर्ट्स डे है इस वीकेंड पे.
ओ, तो कल चिल्ड्रंस डे पे कुछ नहीं होगा?
अभी शायद शायद पे चल रहा है सारा.
हाँ, तो ये स्पोर्ट्स डे भी होगा, फिर एनुअल फंक्शन भी प्लान होगा, राइट?
नहीं नहीं,
नहीं.
एक ही चीज होती है साल में, या तो स्पोर्ट्स डे या फिर एनुअल.
रियली?
हाँ.
नहीं, 5 साल में एक बार होता है स्पोर्ट्स डे.
व्हाट यू विल.
5 साल में एक
हाँ.
बार होता है?
हाँ,
वो
क्योंकि
कोविड.
स्कूल वो स्टेडियम वेडियम बुक करता है, तो आई थिंक एक्सपेंस बहुत हो जाता होगा.
हम्म. वाह, 5 साल में एक बार. तो स्टेडियम एज इन यू गाइस डोंट हैव अ ग्राउंड ऑफ योर ओन स्कूल, या फिर दैट स्मॉल?
नहीं, बुक करा है
नहीं,
नोएडा.
ग्राउंड है बड़ा, बट बुक कर.
अच्छा, नाइस. तो ये फिर पूरा 2 दिन का आपका ये होगा, स्पोर्ट्स डे.
हाँ.
हम्म. नाइस यार. If um let's put our brains to work. If you have um let's take a weird one. Do you like cooking? I mean, I'm not stereotyping, I'm just asking. I think
बेकिंग.
it's like baking.
Hmm.
Hmm. So if you were to start your baking brand, a bakery basically, where you bake and you teach people to bake as well, what kind of approach would you have for a tagline of its promotion? Either you can have tagline or a headline. You can think of it.
Hmm. Just a second, let me think.
हाँ हाँ हाँ, कुछ quick thinking. Ananya, same thing for you, huh? Let's think together.
Can I share my idea?
Yeah, yeah.
So basically, when you think of a bakery, from my perspective, तो सबसे पहले in my mind comes a very छोटा सा कमरा, मतलब obviously a bakery, but बहुत minimalistic and cottage core वाला, कि बिल्कुल vintage vibe देता है. तो
Hmm.
I made sweet whispers of the past, where nostalgia meets freshly baked dreams.
Where?
Nostalgia meets freshly baked dreams.
Nice. If you write it down, let me just share my screen. हम्म, I'll share it. और इसमें अपन एडिटिंग का मेरे पास नहीं है परमिशन. मैं एडिटिंग का परमिशन दे देता हूँ और अपन यहीं पे लिखते हैं ना एक. because I sense a good idea here. Where nostalgia bakes
नहीं, meets freshly baked dreams.
meets freshly bakes dream.
Baked dreams.
Baked dreams,
Hmm.
right? हाँ, ये बाइजन हटाना यार. Nice. Ananya, have you written anything? Ananya is gone silent. Where nostalgia meets freshly baked dreams. Hmm. Nice, yeah. Good. We can take this as मैं ये नेक्स्ट बैच को ही पढ़ाने वाला हूँ. This was a tagline that you thought of, right?
हाँ.
Where nostalgia meets freshly baked dreams. Bake और baked dreams बोला था आपने.
It's baked. BAKED.
ओके. मैं वही कब से सोच रहा हूँ वो बेक्ड होना चाहिए, बट where nostalgia meets freshly baked dreams. Hmm. See, when you read aloud, you have this touch as well, no? You have a feeling. Huh, where nostalgia is meeting freshly baked dreams. Hmm. और क्या हो सकता है परी? Let's think. अनन्या तो साइलेंट हो गई है, खाना खा रही है वो. Hmm. Okay. What is the process when we yeast the cake or the cupcake? What is that process called? The
Frosting.
sorry,
Is it called frosting?
frosting is like when you decorate it, when you are layering it with cream. But the process when it starts fluffing भी
Oh,
बोलते हैं, but वो when it starts when
oh,
it gets baked, it
Almost done situation.
yeah, there's a word for it. it I don't remember. Fluffy. Mm, मेरा दिमाग वहां अटक गया. Ananya, do you have anything in your mind? Let's pour it down.
not yet.
तो वो पेस्ट्री की याद आ गई ना एकदम. बेकरी याद करके आई एम जस्ट imagining the fresh smell of the fresh bread, the fragrance of the essence, vanilla essence, and everything. Oof, very strong. Cookies are being baked. This is
I have another tagline.
yeah.
It's like handcrafted cupcakes and rustic bakes from the cottage kitchen.
अच्छा, ये टैगलाइन है.
हेडो भी हो सकती है.
हैंडक्राफ्टेड कपकेक्स एंड विंटेज. नहीं.
नहीं, एक मिनट. Sorry. Handcrafted cupcake and rustic bakes
Hmm.
From the cottage kitchen.
Hmm. If I take this out, no, not bakes, and crafted breaks from the cottage kitchen. How does it sound?
थोड़ा empty feel हो रहा.
This feels too specific. Also this cakes and then bakes and then cottage kitchen. But this is a good idea. अपन इसके आगे आइडिया लिख लेते हैं, जैसे मैंने भी एक आइडिया लिखा है. So idea for the tag slash अरे like similar idea or just idea, not for a tag or headline. So when we are reading it, अपन लोग को समझ आ रहा है ना, इसमें कुछ तो जगह है, अपन कुछ तो कर सकते हैं इसमें. If we are adding cupcakes and rustic bakes, it is going too specific. If you are removing it, there is a little void in it, which I think मुझे नहीं लग रहा है bakes हटा के I feel very satisfied about it. Handcrafted bakes from the cottage kitchen, or even not just the kitchen, it should be something else. Oven होना चाहिए ना, cottage oven.
हाँ.
So when we say this, and crafted bakes from the cottage oven, how does that sound for you, Ananya? And crafted bakes from the cottage oven. And
Generic.
when we say handcrafted cupcakes and rustic bakes from the cottage oven, hey Ananya, generic से ऊपर कुछ बोलो if you have real inputs. As a writer, you should be able to give us a specific kind of um what would I say, suggestion.
मतलब ये जो टैगलाइन है ये मतलब जैसे कपकेक्स है तो लाइक मेरा मन नहीं कर रहा है इनको खाने का एंड लिखना ऐसे चाहिए कि मन करे कि अभी गॉबल अप कर जाओ.
You shut up.
यू शट अप.
No,
तुमने
you
लिखे
write.
हुए नहीं.
Yeah, you write. You tell us what should be your POV on it.
सर आपने बोला था कमेंट करो मैंने कमेंट कर दी.
अनन्या
Maybe
सिंह
the
तुमने
commenting
कुछ नहीं लिखा.
give
परी
give
बदवा
some
तूने गलत
constructive.
लिखा है.
नहीं, एक सेकंड अनन्या, गिव कंस्ट्रक्टिव फीडबैक. ये अच्छा नहीं लग रहा है, खाने का मन हो जाए, ऐसा कुछ लिख दो. ये तो हर कोई बोल सकता है. यू आर अ राइटर. सजेस्ट, जैसे
सर
kitchen
राइटर
की
हो तो
जगह
क्या
अवन
हुआ.
किया अपन ने.
अनन्या तुम राइटर हो.
अच्छा.
है ये कब हुआ.
अच्छा.
हम्म.
एकदम भाई.
Guys, this recorded session will be out for everyone.
सर आई डोंट थिंक कोई देखने वाला है.
रिकॉर्डेड देख लेते लोग.
ऑनेस्टी ऑनेस्टी.
अच्छा, तुम लोग नहीं देखते हो क्या?
नहीं.
नहीं.
ओह, नाउ आई गेट इट. नहीं यार, यहाँ पे वॉच रेट आ जाता है. परफेक्ट. Now, moving on, this is an example. This is a slide that we have put in our next session. To cover this up, a few pointers, last take on what we have just gone through in today's session is we need to trim out unnecessary words, but we might also have to write more words than you're trimming the words. It can be a case where you might have to write 3 lines when you're removing 1 line, because it might not just sound, like Ananya said, ऐसा मन नहीं कर रहा होगा किसी का या तो खा लेने का या खरीद लेने का. So then you have to make that man for people.
सुना परी.
But this man, you have to listen Ananya also that लिखना क्या अगली बार मन किससे होता है खाने का. You should have an idea. हाँ, मैंने ब्रेक लिया, मुझे लगा परी बोलेगी सुना अनन्या.
सर
राइट.
मुझे भी लगा है बोलेगी.
बिजी हो गई है कहीं, या तो देख मैसेज आया होगा अनन्या तुझे.
नहीं नहीं,
चेक करना. चलो नहीं आया.
नहीं आए देखना.
नहीं आया.
हम्म,
So like we just understood in the last headline slash tagline which we were discussing about. We understood that then there is some details that were missing. We need to refine it, rewrite it, reapproach it. But when you're writing long script, caption, copy, ad, you need to understand that adding the details will bring it to life, make people more intrigued into it. And this all will be clear to you when you start reading it aloud. You will start emphasizing on the points that you want to just hatao from there, or just you need to add them, just you need to tweak them. So these options will come to you when you start reading it aloud. You'll understand there is this spark missing out of it. So this is encouragement practice that we did, और मुझे नहीं लगता अभी को आप लोगों को करना चाहिए. The people who are watching it on record, do this thing, uh, that first write a good copy for tagline or headline for the bakery thing, and then come to the encouragement practice. And I want you guys, since you're watching it on record, write 5 of it and send it to me on WhatsApp, and then we will understand and see the edits, and we'll practice the techniques to make it more feel brought to life kind of thing. That makes sense, Pari, Ananya?
हाँ.
Perfect. With that said, this is our today's session.